I'm Jacob Hornberger, Libertarian candidate for president in 2024. In the wake of his surprise visit to Ukraine, President Biden has said that the war in Ukraine is all about freedom. Are you kidding me? What planet is this man living on? This war is about joining NATO, an old Cold War dinosaur that should never have come into existence in the first place, and at the very least should have gone out of existence along with the Warsaw Pact when the Cold War ended in 1989. Instead, the Pentagon, using NATO, began moving inexorably eastward toward Russia, absorbing Warsaw Pact countries until they finally reached Ukraine over Russia's continuous objections to what was going on here. And Russia made it very clear for the last 25 years that Ukraine was their red line, that if they threatened to absorb Ukraine into NATO, Russia would invade. Now, one of the most befuddling aspects of this whole thing is President Zelensky's decision. What would motivate any president of a country to sacrifice so many of his people and so much of his country for the sake of joining NATO? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, here's the Pentagon operating through NATO that says, we'd like to invite you into NATO, but we need to make it clear to you that if you say yes, you're going to be sacrificing 150,000 of your soldiers, thousands of civilians. Your whole country is going to be decimated. Their whole power structure is going to be destroyed. Do you want to say yes now? And Zelensky says yes. He chooses joining NATO, which is about as far away from freedom as one can imagine, instead of the welfare of his own people. What would motivate a person to do that? Now, there are those that say, well, Zelensky's a new George Washington, and it's obvious that President Biden shares that sentiment. Are you kidding me? George Washington opposed these entangling alliances. He would never have sacrificed even just one American to join NATO because he was so fiercely opposed to this type of thing. There's another factor here. As everyone now knows, the Pentagon is moving America inexorably into the direction of a nuclear war, an all-out, full-scale nuclear war, even if it's accidental, just like they did in the run-up to the Cuban Missile Crisis in 61 and 62. It is the demonstration that the conversion of the U.S. government from a limited government republic, which was our founding governmental system, which I favor, to a national security state form of governmental structure, which President Biden and the Republicans support, which is a totalitarian form of governmental structure, was the absolute worst mistake our nation has ever made. I'm Jacob Hornberger, Libertarian candidate for president.